Welcome to the Broken Pencil Booking Company Pro Wrestling Podcast and radio show infused with hip hop. I am Wood.
Made daily with organic, farm to table, localized, neuralized, sterilized, available on Amazon, available online, shipped worldwide, not available on Sundays, but available on thebeastradio.com. Broken Pencil Logic. You stay classy, internet. I'm Suave Burgundy.
Hey, I'm the Petty Messiah, and we're having a show. Yay. I'm here. Let's do it. Let's do it, guys. Let's have a show. It's going to be great.
No Thanks. big main, medium-sized main?
Hey, you're getting what you get today.
Wow.
You take it. You take it and you enjoy it. It's going to be a great show.
No. See, that's what got Sammy Guevara suspended. You can't do that.
Yeah, we'll see. Sammy Guevara.
You can't do that. They'll cancel you.
Forcing them to do stuff that they didn't want to do. You know?
Yeah, we're in a culture you can't force anything on anyone. Don't do that.
Forcing anything. 400 years of forcing something on
no.
You said we couldn't use foul language, sir.
You know, in America, standing up for yourself is foul language.
Hey! You don't need none of that.
The Petty Messiah is here, ladies and gentlemen.
Your tone?
He's making his debut on thebeastradio.com today. He's been around the Broken Pencil BC forever and a day.
It's the return of forever.
Yeah, man. So, last week we kicked off the show talking about some goodness, and we ain't talking about pro wrestling either. We talking about down in the valley where the girls get naked. So
to the top, just to get out the bottom.
Swab been watching his phone too much as that song plays. He knows all the lyrics.
Hey, look, it's not like these lyrics are overtly complicated.
Hold on, before we go too deep in this, real quick, let's get the particulars out the way. The hashtags. You can't write this. Mark my words. Folk Life Shorty with the shit. What fuck the casual fan and Broken Pencil Logic. Now, hold on. Let me hit myself because I did hit the hashtags and one of them.
I really feel like you shouldn't have to hit yourself with the swear jar if it's the hashtag.
Two of them, sir. Like literally.
One of them is not even spelled. One of them's not even spelled like a swear word. It just, when you pronounce it sounds that way.
BrokenPencilBC@gmail.com, show at BrokenPencilBC.com, and Broken Pencil BC on all things social. So that means that's at Broken Pencil BC on everything. Today
right
is
on.
Thursday, September the 10th. Year of our Lord. I say year of our Lord. 20 and 20. We're taking it back to our roots. Like our early episodes, man, we had like instrumentals from esteemed producers in this game. One of the first that gave us his blessing to bless our podcast was the great Marco Polo, representing T.O. representing Brooklyn. And right. so we're taking it back. So we today's show brought to you by Marco Polo Beats. So make sure you follow him. You know what I'm saying?
Way to go, guy.
Now,
thanks.
Back to the P Valley because that's important.
I've never seen an episode of this show.
This ain't about you.
First of all, you're doing your artistic palette a disservice by not having seen this.
We're talking about Mr. Contrarian himself. So let's just do our talking about this because episode 8, season finale of season 1, bruh. Uncle Clifford's a hot mess. Let's talk about that. It's a whole lot of little murders. Well, not Uncle Murder. I'm about to get us all fired.
Wow, hold on.
Wow,
whole lot of little murders running around here.
Names matter, bro.
Yeah, it does. It definitely does matter. Man, what? So we I guess we figured out that Haley / Autumn's guy is now in a body bag somewhere. No broken pencil though. Somebody was leaking like a faucet coming out of there, and it wasn't Haley, and it wasn't Mercedes, as she's been called, Mercedes. Who else? Oh man, I felt so bad for Diamond. Diamond was beating the brakes off a Mississippi dude, and she upstrapped on him, only to go home. I'm sure she got tore out the frame when she got to the house.
But nah, that was something that it happens a lot, and it's happened in this city and had a far worse outcome. Like, so it shined a light on the ugly underbelly of domestic violence, where the person who is being abused is not always.
My mind just went blank. It's a syndrome. It's actually named after somebody, not Munchausen. Stockholm syndrome. When you fall in love with your captor, yes.
That vibe. So it was like, oh, really? That's what you on?
And you can tell he was visibly heartbroken. Visibly.
Oh yeah, he was crushed because he was about to get the W. He was about to finish him.
And then right behind that, we see the return of America's favorite rap bastard, Tariq St. Patrick.
Yeah.
Power Book 2, Ghost season 1, episode 1, or season 7 if you're keeping score at home.
No. This is a completely new show.
Is it though?
No. Yes.
You cannot start a completely new show with the same themes, same theme song from the previous show that birthed this one. No.
Do you know what happened the last time 50 changed the intro music?
Hey,
the internet exploded.
50 made a remix of a song that was already. 50 made a remix of a song that was already in his catalog. His catalog is that of a library. You can go pick another damn powerful record.
I get what you're saying, and it probably would have been the time to change the intro music because it is a new book. However, you just got to go with the last data you received. And the last time you changed the song, the internet was really upset. So I wouldn't have remixed that original song and just come with something completely different.
Yeah, I can't say that I'm a fan, bro. Can't say that I'm a fan. That said, though, how do you feel about the progression of this season so far? We're only one episode in, and I'm loving what I'm seeing. Actually, not liking, and there's a lot of detractors out there. Y'all ain't watching the show hard enough. Either that, or y'all care too much about your TV product.
I really like the direction the show's going in. It's not gonna be what you've been watching for the past 6 seasons at all. It's gonna be different. Okay, for those of you who have a wider TV palette, if you've ever watched what is it, Grownish?
Which
it's like Grownish with crack sales involved. Like
now I want to watch Grownish.
Hey, look, Grownish is really dope. Like I won't even front. Grownish is dope. This is gonna be Tariq's version of Grownish, but then they're selling drugs at the same time too. Because that young man ran up 50 racks in a week. I'm like, why are you really worried about taking care of grandma and them? You ran up 50 racks in a week when you had to.
On the street. So he robbed the person that got him robbed with no gun.
Smiled on her face and walked off with the product.
And it's not personal, just business.
It's just business.
But then we also have, what else do we have on that? We had not one.
She owed him. He could have shot her.
Not one, not two, not three, but potentially 4 love interests for this man.
I'm so glad.
4.
I'm so glad for him. And there's the chick that ratted on him. I forgot her name. There's Lauren on the college campus. There's
come on, Effie.
His room. Yeah, okay. Then her
there's
his
Effie,
roommate's cousin,
Lauren, the roommate's cousin, and potentially the professor of or his counselor, because she dropped the Easter egg too. Say you can talk to me about anything.
Yeah, that's the vibe I caught when they had that conversation. Like she was so sympathetic that eventually he could try to make that move. Now the plot twist might be he reads it the same way. He makes that move and burns all his equity.
We'll definitely come back and talk about that here on the show if that happens. But yeah, this is appointment television.
Yeah, this is pretty dope. I mean, it's almost to the point that if you get too far into Tariq's story, you might forget about the other stuff he's done on Power Book 1, at least for a little bit. But yeah, this is off to a good start. I will say Tasha is still the dumbest, most inept motherfucker. Go ahead, give me a swear jar. Go ahead, start it off. Hit it. Pause.
I already hit it.
The dumbest motherfucker in the history of television. They asked her, who was your accomplice? Who let you know?
And everybody and their mama is telling her to tell the truth.
Dre. No. The first time they interrogated her and asked her who was the accomplice, how did you know when the exact moment to come in? Your out was Dre.
The one dude who gets killed in a shootout with the police at a gas station while being on the run. If
she'd have said Dre, then she'd have been out of jail. Then they come back and ask her who was the shooter. Then she decides to say Dre. But Dre doesn't have any forensic evidence on him to prove that he's the shooter. All Dre would have had to do, she could have taken the same charge of her as the shooter, make Dre the accomplice who text her or let her know when it was time to come in, and you'd have still walked. You'd have come home with probation. You idiot. You tried to put the whole murder on Dre, which you didn't have to. You were already out of jail.
And then you go through not one, but two, but three attorneys on the first episode. The first of which is a fired Fed attorney who was trying to pin your husband. And she had a nice spin, but she wanted to know too damn much because she cared about her job.
Yeah, you didn't have no love for him, so you could have put that on. You could have put that on Ghost. Like you didn't. Yeah.
But shouts out,
put that on him as just one extra shot.
But shouts out to Tariq though for hijacking his roommate's Instagram and forcing the hand of an attorney who wanted $500,000 cash, and he ended up raising $50,000 cash, and still now he's gonna have to pull up another $950 because he gonna want that cool $1 million for the free advertisement.
No, he told me Meth told me he owed $450K, so he still only owed like almost half.
But he told him, he said, we're gonna get to that $1 million. You didn't hear that?
I mean, they gonna get to it, but yeah, by the time they get to it, somebody gonna be done ran it up.
Yeah, man. All Out 2020 was we talked about it on last week's episode, and now we're running into the aftermath of All Out. This was a very interesting,
reckless, sloppy.
I felt bad. We saw Joey Janela and Serpentico in the opening, and I swear Serpentico looks like a Puerto Rican version of Fuego del Sol. Dive, Fuego, dive!
Maybe Fuego's got a tan.
As much as he's been spending time in Jacksonville, it wouldn't surprise me.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, Fuego been out on the beach getting the tan.
Yeah,
doing his thing.
That was definitely a pre-show match, if you will. On the buy-in, we also saw the Private Party going up against Dark Order 3 and 4, and man, I swear, I've never been in a wrestling ring. I have no desires to ever go in a wrestling ring, especially at my age. Bruh, Private Party needs to take a few weeks off television, and they need to dial it back a little. Like they need to learn the science, like not how to wrestle, but they need to learn like how to make things make sense in the ring, because they're going to hurt themselves or hurt somebody really, really bad.
Wait, now, but I understand what you're saying, and I share some of the sentiment. But why are we going to sit Private Party down when the most tenured tag team in the entire company does the exact same thing?
Who that being? You talking about the Young Bucks?
Yes. Their tag team matches don't make sense either.
Well, no. I'm not talking about making sense in terms of story. I'm talking about making sense in terms of the unintentional movement to inflict bodily harm to self or to others.
Lucha Bros. I won't say Jurassic Express, but Luchasaurus is equally as dangerous. It's a lot of people out there that just like be doing stuff.
Lucha Bros are an extreme Mexican tag team, so they're like a luchador, a dream luchador tag team with a hard hitting style. And
they're a bigger, edgier, cooler Lucha House Party.
But I'd also think that they're a lot safer from what I've seen than Private Party. Because I've seen Private Party walk away limping from a regular rules tag team match, where I've seen people walk away straight from a Lucha Bros match that's been like with no rules, with like no holds barred.
I think we splitting hairs on that.
Yeah,
I think we splitting hairs on that. I think everybody could, especially after this weekend, everyone could use maybe a safety seminar, possibly. But I don't necessarily feel like Private Party is any more reckless than anybody else I've seen. There have been some awful botches on AEW television. There have been some dangerous and scary moments. And it's just, I think it's incumbent of the entire roster to take stock of where you are right now and try to do better.
Britt Baker versus Big Swole in a tooth and nail match from Britt Baker's dental office.
Speaking of,
and there was a needle spot. There was a needle bump in this match. When I say a needle bump, I mean a hypodermic needle being injected into the thigh of Dr. Britt Baker from her dental office. It caused her leg to go to sleep, and the finisher was laughing gas.
I mean, just considering the history of pro wrestling, do you think a hypodermic needle in the thigh was the best idea?
Bro, I cringed. When I saw the needle, I cringed. I've never done hard drugs in my life, and I'm telling you, I cringed.
I was just thinking steroids. I wasn't even thinking hard drugs yet.
Them too.
Now, Big Swole had made her tie off and then shot her with the hypodermic needle. Then I've been like, hey, bro, you one step too far.
Oh man, Jurassic Express versus the Young Bucks. Speaking of, bruh, well, I'll tell you what I loved about this match. They gave 0 F's about Marco Stunt having that crutch on the outside.
Now, well, then you've completely mirrored the rest of the viewing audience who don't care anything about Marco Stunt.
Marco Stunt was trying to pull off like the heel second on the outside, and he got it handed to him by the Young Bucks.
Good, that's what he gets.
Yeah, and I thought this was a pretty fun match, and I think it was the right way to actually start off the pay-per-view, and not the Britt Baker match. I don't think that match should have started. Matter of fact, I like to think that the Big Swole Britt Baker match should have been on the buy-in. And typically,
it was.
No, it wasn't. That was the first. Wasn't? No, that was the first match of the actual pay-per-view.
Jeez, bro.
And then because typically the Casino Battle Royal is usually on the buy-in.
In which case, I would have preferred Private Party to be on the buy-in, because at least they're going to do some stuff that makes you feel like, hey, I want to see what else is going on. Joey Janela and Serpentico was not. That wasn't. If the idea of the match on the buy-in is to sell you on the fact that you need to buy into the pay-per-view, that wasn't it.
I'm okay with you bringing back SCU to kick off pay-per-views, because why we not getting no SCU? Why we ain't got Scorpio Sky, the king of AEW Dark? Well, the reason why he wasn't on the opening was because he was actually in the semi-main.
And yeah, then there's that.
Go ahead. But to me, he's in a lost storyline. But I understand what they're trying to do with him. They're trying to elevate him upper mid card to top tier status, which he is well deserved. But you could have put Kazarian and Daniels, if you were going to sacrifice them in Casino Battle Royal, you could have easily put them at the start of the show, because from All In to All Out to like almost every AEW pay-per-view up to this point, somebody from SCU kicked off the pay-per-view, and they were the ones to set the tone for the rest of the pay-per-view. If we had to say the rest of All Out was going to be based upon how we felt about Britt Baker versus Big Swole, we were in for a night of trouble. And not for nothing, it was a great pay-per-view. I'm sorry, it was a very good pay-per-view. It wasn't great. It was a very good pay-per-view, but that definitely set the tone for how we went the rest of the night.
Well, look, didn't I say that when we were naming off people that were supposed to be in the Battle Royal, and you brought up Christopher Daniels and Kazarian? To your credit, they were a part of the Battle Royal. However, I was like,
I didn't expect it. Even me saying that, like, it's easier to say it because they're names that are around and you want to see them, but I didn't expect to see them when I saw them. Like, really? They're really here?
It's just like, well, like I said then, it's not a when you're talking about contenders that could potentially be the number one contender for the AEW championship, those two names, while serviceable workers and great talents overall and a great team, do not move the needle. They're filler. They can get I can see either one of those guys getting a television main event against the champ just to have a great match. But if you're talking about someone you're going to build a storyline around for a massive pay-per-view payoff match, I don't see you making that investment on those two guys, mainly because of their age, because their work is fine.
Well, you'd have to do a massive heel turn and put somebody as their mouthpiece, even though they both can talk. And you would have to do that in order to make it believable. I would rather see. Huh? Was that?
I'm gonna say by our standards, but they do face versus face matches all the time. They just do it based on, air quotes, the spirit of competition.
Right. But what I'm saying is that's the only way that we'd be able to get enough buy-in from them to say that they would deserve a big payoff match in a tag team. That said, though, I really like Kazarian in the AEW TNT title picture. He's somebody that could actually get a 6-month run.
Possibly. But all of those guys would give you great TV main events. I'm saying for a pay-per-view main event, you have another list, another tier of individuals that make sense before you get to the members of SCU sans Scorpio Sky.
Now, let's move on to the Casino Battle Royal, because I think this concept, if this is the third one, I'm done. I don't need to see another one of these. So the rules are you have 4 groups of 5 in a wild card. I call it a joker, but a wild card. In the first group, you had Trent, Ray Phoenix, Christopher Daniels, Jake Hager, and The Blade. Group 2, Will Hobbs, which we'll talk about him in a second.
Ice Train Jr.
Basically. Santana and Ortiz, Chuck Taylor, and Kazarian. Group 3, Billy Gunn. I guess Pentagon Jr. is no longer Pentagon Jr. He's Penta El Cero M.
I don't understand why that, but okay. Maybe
no fear Penta. No fear Penta is basically what that means.
Now I know what it means. I just don't know why you waited till like a year later to change his name.
And that name is apparently I want to say back when they were in MLW, his name had changed from Pentagon Jr. I think they just started calling him back that again, but I don't.
On AEW television, he's been Pentagon Jr. for the entire
since All In, right? Ricky Starks, Brian Cage was on. It rounds out Team 3, and then Group 4, Sean Spears, Eddie Kingston, The Butcher, Sonny Kiss, and Lance Archer. Shouts out to Murder Hawk, Lance Archer, Pencil Pusher Extraordinaire, because Texas, and the
gang.
The Joker, or the wild card, I guess it is the Joker, is Matt Sydal.
Because you immediately said, this Joker here.
Man, listen, if there's anybody I feel bad for in any stretch of this pay-per-view, it's Matt Sydal. What happened to him that he did not deserve at all. And it's not funny like in a ha-ha sense, because the man could have legitimately died.
Factual. This is factual.
But it was so... Go ahead.
I was say if he had made a little bit more of a rotation on that Shooting Star Press, we're not having nearly as jovial a conversation.
He climbs to the top rope, and with so much energy, as he launches himself off, his foot slips off the top turnbuckle, and the only thing that saved his life is his athleticism. Nothing else saved his life, and probably God's grace.
Right.
Man, I was so glad to see him get up and actually be able to compete in that match. They never showed that again, and I applaud the production staff for not showing that again on the during the pay-per-view, because and then Will Hobbs man, he might need to go back to dark for a few more weeks too. He's a talent. He's got the size. He's got the look, but ready for prime time? I don't think so yet.
I mean, I make the joke of Ice Train Jr. It's more so he actually looks like Ice Train for real.
He does, even from the hair to the size to the tights, the colors.
Yeah, if he just shaped that box up a little bit more, and he's Ice Train, and grow a goatee, he is Ice Train Jr. Which me on the cool, I would try to find Ice Train and see if I can't get him for some vignettes.
While you tripping though, you might want to find Thunderbolt Patterson. Because you can get him in for a couple as well. If anybody remembers who he is.
I mean, we'll see what Tony Atlas doing. I'm dead serious though. There's a myriad of former African American performers that could help him, that would look good on camera, tutoring him if you're going to try to build him into your own homegrown star.
And you know what?
However,
go ahead.
Going back to something else you said about the production staff. I wouldn't necessarily start throwing them props for not re-showing Matt Seidel's botched
mishap because he didn't botch it. That was just an unfortunate accident there. That was completely unfortunate.
Ooh, we'll split hairs on that. But there's some stuff that they showed and replayed later on that wouldn't necessarily give them points for that. So be easy with the praises, how you deal that out.
You got a point there. Not for nothing, the Murder Hawk Lance Archer comes out victorious. He is now your AEW #1 contender for the AEW World Championship.
Right. Finally, we've done something right. That means we get more Jake Roberts talking, and we get more Murder Hawk.
Do we? Coming soon. That's on the agenda.
Yeah. Just hold what you got.
Man, listen. Last year, it was probably last March where we actually talked to Lance Archer, and in all seriousness, in all sincerity, I stated that we have seen easily the biggest resurgence of anyone's career for someone who's been in the ring for as long as he has. And what we're seeing from him, this was back then, what we were seeing from him is stuff that we have never seen before out of him, and the best is yet to come. This is proof. I'm
not gonna say we're responsible for the success of the Murder Hawk, but I will say we've been Team Murder Hawk for quite some time. And man, like this, he every week he just comes out and he ceases to amaze. And man, it's never ceases. To amaze.
I'm sorry. Never. Thank you. Never ceases to amaze. And
you about to get us kicked out of Club Murder.
And I still got his T-shirt over here too. Well, I'm tripping. COVID's killing everything, man. So anyway, the winner of the Casino Battle Royal, Lance Archer. Then pull up the tweet while I preface this match. Broken Rules match. Sammy Guevara, Matt Hardy.
Wait, which tweet you want me to pull up? There's been several of them.
Rebby Hardy.
Well, then there's that.
That's the one. Rebby Hardy.
All right, give me a second. Go ahead, do your thing.
This match was basically a no rules match. It was the blow off steam for the feud between Sammy Guevara and Matt Hardy. The loser leaves AEW. And this match actually was stopped before it even got started, after it had officially been started. Matt Hardy fell roughly 15 feet through a table and hit the back of his head on flat concrete. And Sammy Guevara had the nerve to try to pick him up, and Matt Hardy kept falling. Eyes looked like a glazed donut. He could not stand on his own two. Referees are in the way. Sammy Guevara being held back by AEW officials. It was a very scary moment. Now, what Suave was talking about earlier with the AEW production staff not caring about things that they show and replay, to fill time, they kept showing Matt Hardy falling through this damn table. We've seen table spot after table spot after damn table spot all throughout the course of the last 25 years in professional wrestling. This was by far the grossest. And mind you, we saw Bubba Ray go through 3 tables and knock himself out. And this was worse than that. Did you find that tweet yet, Suave?
So I found a different one that actually, in chronological order, kind of prefaces what we were looking for. So Ryan Satin put out these updates about with the updates from Tony Khan at the
I forgot about those too.
So according to the report of Ryan Satin from Tony Khan, Tony says health and safety of the performers is always the most important thing to AEW, and notes that it looks like Matt is okay at this point. Tony says he stopped the match after Matt took the fall, then sent the doctor to check on him. Notes that he was concerned that Matt may be hurt, so he had them ring the bell. Then the doctor checked on Matt and cleared him. Says doctor was not pressured into clearing Matt. Tony says that Matt Hardy came back after the match and passed concussion protocol. And the trip to the hospital was done as a precaution. It was not something any of us enjoyed. So let's do that. And then your reaction to that is I'm finding Reby Hardy's tweet.
I'm actually I'm looking for it right now.
No, I got it. But did you have anything you wanted to say about Tony's initial reaction?
No, I don't. There's nothing. If you're familiar with the AEW product, there's absolutely nothing to say about that comment, because it's 100%. And I won't say much about Tony Khan that's negative. That's 100% bullshit, and I will bring myself.
I almost made that one on the house. But Reby Hardy tweeted they needed additional imaging done after his CT. He is still in the hospital. 1,000% concussion. Anyone with eyes could have told you that, though.
I'm over 1,000 miles away in suburban Dallas, Texas. I saw that he had a damn concussion. One who has been concussed knows what concussion looks like. Those who have seen people be concussed knows what concussion looks like.
But who looked at that potential spot and said, "Yeah, that's gonna be fire"?
Now
you're doing a backwards
Matt Hardy
dive.
looked at that spot.
But I'm saying he may
9 times out of 10, Matt Hardy looked at that spot as a spot he's done several times before. He could easily do it and not expecting to have what happened happen.
No, there was nothing. Okay. There was nothing about that spot that said this is cool, this is safe. There was nothing about it because it was on flat concrete. That's different from a ramp.
You're still talking to one of the inventors of tables, ladders, and chairs, dude. Like you're not gonna say that as Matt Hardy when you jumped off probably countless things with the same landing points.
Okay, cool. To that, I say, where are the grown-ups?
The grown-ups are giving carte blanche to Matt Hardy. The grown-ups were there only after something happened, just like grown-ups would be. Like, but the grown-ups even
wait, what?
Kissing.
Those are teenagers. Right. That's the big cousin. Like they watching.
It's a babysitter watching 2 12-year-olds fight, and the babysitter is 15. One of them breaks their arm, but they like, let them fight. It seems okay. That's what the
their mom
was.
Gets home and be like, okay, what the hell happened?
So what happened was, okay,
no,
absolutely not. No,
because mom's at home watching it on a video feed.
You didn't take the chicken out the freezer. You didn't do nothing you were supposed to do.
Right. So check it out. So mom is on Twitter live, letting all the expletives fly.
So here's a text thread between Matt and Reby. Matt starts the text thread. Actually, this is right before the match. Matt says, "Love you. I got to hit the football field in just a minute to start our match. Hope you enjoy." Mind you, Reby and I think King Maxwell were up in the stands. And it might have been the baby, but I don't know who it was. But somebody was in the stands watching this match. Reby replies, "I love you. Don't be dumb." And here comes the cash cow. Let me get it ready. Quote.
Like she knew what was coming.
Quote. Hold on. Quote.
She told him, "Don't be dumb." And what did he do? Go do something dumb.
What the fuck?
Did something dumb out the gate. Right.
You practically cleared the table. What the fuck? What the goddamn fucking fuck? I'm sorry. These are quotes. These are quotes.
Even with a third table, he would have hit his head on the concrete.
So here's the thing. Now, all of us are African American men, and I'm saying this for a reason.
Okay.
Oh Lord.
we love African American women, so we understand how they respond to certain things when anger comes up. One thing that a lot of people don't understand is that when a white woman in America
she's not white,
very angry,
she's not white.
What nationality?
She's Latina.
Yeah, before you jump off this cliff.
Wait, she's a Latina?
Yeah,
that's even worse. Wait, the level of anger gets worse when you add Latina in front of what I'm saying.
About to get us canceled.
No, we weren't gonna get canceled because it's funny. Every subsection of people responds to certain things certain ways. The way she responded to that is the way you expect real life anger and fear to come out in verbal form.
Let me back up. She's not just Latina. She's from Queens.
So she, what is she? Puerto Rican, Dominicana? Dominicana?
How did Matt Hardy pull that off?
Matt Hardy never dies, baby.
North Carolina.
So here's the thing, and this is akin to when Mox, I think Mox was fighting Kenny. I don't know who it was he was fighting.
I think it was Kenny.
Renee was on Twitter like,
oh yeah, Kenny. No, it was Jericho.
No, it was Kenny. It was full.
That was Kenny.
Okay,
that was Kenny.
She's like, hello, hi, yes, I hate this.
I hate this.
When he did the suplex into the barbed wire box spring.
Look, and you know, at risk of the swear jar, I'm not gonna repeat it, but the quote is pretty much the same. You know, what the blank and blank? Like, if she let it slide, I was like, hold on, man. When I saw Reby said, I was like, that boy must have almost died.
Yeah, it was bad, bro.
Is the great thing about it is, one, so the stupidity starts with probably Matt thinking this is a normal spot for me. It's only 15 feet. You know what I mean? And I know that's how they think, because Jeff will jump off of anything. That's his brother. Matt's still gonna jump off anything with a fused tailbone. He don't care. They don't care. You know what I'm saying? Like, because they do it all the time. You can do it safely. If 70-some-year-old Vince can fall backwards 10 feet in the air
on a crash pad,
on a crash pad, I give you that.
It's still pretty. It's still pretty hard. It's probably not hard. It's still pretty firm. It's a pretty firm fall.
It's not like you're falling into like a foam mattress.
Fall. It's a stunt fall. He's falling off of a scissor lift onto concrete through gimmicked tables.
Backwards. The tables is supposed to stop the draft, man.
Let me
get real.
We can spend the whole rest of this show talking about this.
It's not like New Jack threw him off a scaffold.
It might as well have been.
Might as well have been. Might as well have been. Might as well have been.
Look,
this was living dangerously.
Any chance I can get to put New Jack on the show, I'm doing it.
Shouts out to New Jack. We can talk about this all day long, this match, because there's so much nonsense to it. But let me read you the analysis from Bleacher Report post match. By the way, the match was restarted and completed, and Matt Hardy defeated Sammy Guevara. Why the hell that happened, I don't know. But here's the analysis from Bleacher,
grown-ups on duty from
Bleacher Report. That part. The handling of this is going to be polarizing because of the well-being of Hardy, who AEW CEO Tony Khan said passed concussion protocol after the match, but went to a local hospital for precautionary reasons. It is clear that there are some sort of audible called in between Edwards waving the match off and the competitors returning to the arena, going right into the finish. People will question whether Hardy should have been permitted to climb the stage scaffolding, but the finish at least gave a few the jaw-dropping in it deserved. Wrong. You don't deserve a jaw-dropping in when somebody damn near kills themselves. I don't care who you are.
That was your jaw-dropping in.
You throw up the X and you send them to the hospital. That's what you do.
If that was Matt's send-off, then fine. Put him backstage, give him a headset. He had a wonderful career. We will applaud him accordingly. Unfortunately, that didn't happen. That said, moving forward, AEW Women's Championship on the line with Hikaru Shida versus the NWA Women's Champion Thunder Rosa. This was a pretty damn good match.
I thought you said the A&W cream soda. That sound like what Excalibur said during the broadcast. Anyway,
Excalibur, man. First of all, how did he sneak back onto the microphone? Second of all, why is he still employed?
You know why.
Man, go home. In fact, go to hell. How about that?
Go to hell on the way home.
Make your first stop the gas station.
Wow.
At any rate, I digress. That dude grinds my gears, fam. I don't even know that clown, man. Take the damn mask off, you punk. Anyway, at any rate,
go ahead. Compose yourself.
Yeah, great grappling match between two of the international women of the industry, putting on a nice little showing. And not to say, not for nothing, I think we talked about Serena Deeb returning last week to AEW, or showing up at AEW last week to put on an exhibition with Thunder Rosa, and hopefully we see more of Serena Deeb, because she definitely deserves some type of shine on the women's side, because when she was wrestling, she was a wrestler in the Divas world, and we did not deserve to see that at all.
Man, she was Shayna Baszler.
So we fast forward to the main, or the semi-main event, where we have the Dark Order, which was the AEW TNT champion, Mr. Brody Lee, Stu Grayson, Evil Uno, and Colt Cabana versus Dustin Rhodes, QT Marshall, Scorpio Sky, and Matt Cardona. This, if you want to start off a pay-per-view with hot energy, this would have been a match to do it. Of all the matches, I understand the star power in this match made it seem like you wanted to put this high on the card, but there was absolutely no reason to put this match this high on the card with no payoff. And it was a mediocre match at best, but at the same time, the energy is what made this match deserve to open up the show. But the story here is Colt Cabana really not belonging in the Dark Order, which we knew that all along anyway, because he's still playing the role of a face while in a heel group. Don't like it at all.
He didn't buy into the group. He didn't actually become a full-fledged member. I'm not exactly sure what the point was.
And out of this match came the challenge for Dustin Rhodes to take on Mr. Brody Lee for the AEW TNT Championship last night on Dynamite, which your winner and still Mr. Brody Lee.
Good, solid first title defense. Or was that the first title defense?
Yes.
Okay. It served a purpose.
Yeah.
Nice.
AEW Tag Team Title Match: Hangman Page and Kenny Omega versus FTR. This one left
not quite what I expected.
Left a lot to be desired, man. I don't know if it was a communication issue. This wasn't it. This wasn't it. There was a lot of like hard hitting stuff going on here, but it just didn't seem like this one hit on all cylinders either.
They let the wrong person. I feel like FTR didn't put this match together. Like, I feel like this was a Kenny Omega production.
And I mean, even like Kenny asked for a time check like 5 minutes into the match, or it felt like 5 minutes into the match.
He asked for a time check in front of God and everybody else.
Man, I mean, that's what it looked like. It looked like it was a time check. I could be wrong, but that's what it looked like. That's what he was asking the referee for. I don't know. Either way,
bruh.
Winner and new AEW World Tag Team Champions FTR. We knew it was coming. We didn't know it was going to happen this fast for them, but good for them. And for their efforts, they get new tag team belts. The belts have only been around for a year, and now we already got new ones. That's cool. I'm okay with that.
The only thing I don't like about this is that this is probably the setup for the Young Bucks to go over FTR to win their first AEW Tag Team title.
Only because
not necessarily in favor.
You knew for a fact they weren't going over Kenny Omega and Hangman Page. But what's next for Hangman Page? Because it looks, even though you would think Hangman Page was going to be the one turning heel, it looks like Kenny's turning heel on Hangman Page.
I feel like they blew it. I feel like they really blew it.
Yeah.
You had it. It was right there. You had one job.
It's been hanging for a year, fam. They built this thing for a year, and the entire world was looking for it. We didn't get it.
We didn't get the Hangman Page heel turn. We didn't get Page with FTR. Like, all of the stuff that you had that could have been really cool, you just burnt it to the ground.
Threw it out the window.
Now you're going to continue with this slow burn where you don't know where anyone's going, and it looks like Hangman Page is just going to be like a a distraught drunk for the rest of his AEW run.
Mimosa Mayhem. Brian Pillman Jr. That's we one of these days we'll talk about. Hopefully next episode we can talk more about him in detail because he deserves to get a contract. MLW, give him free. Mimosa Mayhem match, Orange Cassidy versus Chris Jericho. This was a very fun match. It wasn't a good match. It was just a fun match. Great filler before the main event. Your winner, as you knew he was going to be, Chris Jericho lost to Orange Cassidy. So there, I mean, you knew that was going to happen.
Can we finally be done with this guy?
Orange Cassidy?
Yes.
I don't want to be done with him. I don't want to be done with this. I want to be done with this King of Sloth style gimmick.
Well, I think he's breaking out of it.
If you're going to be done with that, you are going to be done with him because that's his selling point. Everybody I know that likes him because of that. So if he changes that, it's a wrap. Meanwhile, has anyone checked on the status of Pac? Can he travel yet?
Man, now the ban with the UK. I mean, if he's at home, that's what the problem is. Is the US versus the UK.
Well,
there you go.
Then there's that.
AEW World Championship, Jon Moxley versus MJF. I expected something completely different from this.
Yeah, I think they missed it with this too.
And Jon Moxley wins. MJF gets the Crimson Mask. They could have easily done this with a double turn with Moxley winning, and they kept Moxley in the same position he was. Oh, and the rule was Moxley couldn't use the paradigm shift, which he got the ref's attention away from him with Wardlow and actually used the paradigm shift.
That's why I'm like, why was there not either a rematch scheduled or that should have caused Moxley to lose the championship? Like, why? He had so many outs.
Here's an idea. Senior official Mike Chioda could have come out there and said something on Dynamite last night, but that didn't happen either.
I'm just like, it was sloppy. Like, you left too many story plot holes. You have him sign this contract to not use the move. Then he uses the move behind the referee's back to win the match. And then you come on television the next Wednesday and say nothing about it. Like, he just cheated. It's not if you violate a contract, there should be consequences, right?
Should be. Here's what's crazy about this pay-per-view with AEW. AEW has had a track record of putting on seller pay-per-view events ever since its inception a year ago. This one here is by far their worst effort yet. And I'm sure it's no coincidence that their best match that they had of the night was the one that I hated, the one that I liked the least, which had one of our favorites winning it, which was Lance Archer in the Casino Battle Royal. That was easily the best match of the night. That they have got to figure out a way to. I don't know if it was nerves. Like, I mean, I understand this is like their Slammiversary, their WrestleMania, whatever you want to call it. This is their equivalent. You have got to figure out a way to make people dial back these nerves, because I get it's the first pay-per-view you had with a quote unquote real crowd, even though there was social distancing in a smaller venue. Just like, I don't know. It just seemed off from the beginning. Something just seemed off.
It just seems like a lot of people are not focused right now, including Tony Khan, because we've seen him go public with a lot more comments aiming at WWE, and I'm like, fam, that's not what you should be focused on. Vince is gonna Vince. He'll have ebbs and flows. You need to focus on what's going on in-house and not worry so much about competing with WWE. Because there are obviously things going on in AEW that need to be addressed, whether it's safety issues, whether it's creative consistency, whether it's match quality. All of those things can and should be addressed in-house before you start making tweets, comments, and posts about the air quotes competition.
Or not Vince be Vincent. Yo, so what we're going to do at this point in time is bid the people at thebeastradio.com a farewell and advise you to go check us out on all of our streaming platforms. You find some place where you listen to podcasts, we're there. Broken Pencil Booking Company, Broken Pencil BC on all things social, Broken Pencil BC on everything. Show at brokenpencilbc.com, brokenpencilbc@gmail.com is the addresses that you can reach us at. And the rest of the show can be heard on those platforms.
The Broken Pencil Booking Company, a pro wrestling podcast infused with hip-hop. Available on all streaming platforms, including thebeastradio.com.
All right, and so now we back to our normal 1-2 thing.
Right on.
Let's see what else we got here. Old man Vince. The old man has lost it. Speaking of Vince McMahon. So, Mr. Suave, I like to consider you a social media guru. Please break down like this whole situation for me, because we got things to say.
So I'll do this in short form so we don't have to get totally into all of the logistics. Vince and some of the powers that be at WWE essentially want to control all forms of media from all contracted talents and individuals, meaning there was a conference call where he said, we not only do we own your performance names, we own access to your real names. We need you to shut down all outside partnerships. Essentially saying, look, if you're going to get an outside partnership, we're going to be the ones that assign that to you. We don't need you out here building your own house. We don't need you building a pool house in the backyard type thing. Come inside.
Right.
So it started to step on toes. It was basically, Twitch channels. What was the other outlet? YouTube. Anything where they're establishing another brand outside of WWE, they were pretty much putting the cease and desist on. Where Stephanie went on the bump, which I haven't watched that episode, but I did read kind of some of the transcripts. She took the opposite stance. We need more WWE talents to start building their brand online outside, because it makes them more valuable once you see them on television. If you're famous on Twitch, then it's more of a reason to put you on television, because they can advertise, hey, famous Twitch channel operator will be doing such and such. Basically, everything that Zack Ryder did to get famous 10, 12, 14 years ago is what they're encouraging now. And Vince is like, nah, stop it, shut it down.
And who else has been making noise on Twitch since what, March? Miro. Miro has been running roughshod. In fact, Miro got himself kicked off of Twitch because of one of the dumbest rules that they have. Of course, they don't want to be running like a porn site or anything like that. So they had an issue.
No, that's for OnlyFans.
Right. So they didn't want to go that route. So one of their rules is women cannot be, or I guess men for that matter too, cannot be seen wearing swimsuits or lingerie unless they're in an environment that dictates it. So Lana
most Twitchers are gaming from their bedroom. So,
and Miro was on the couch one day, and Lana, his wife, pulls up next to him in a swimsuit, in a bikini, and he gets kicked off of Twitch because of that. But had they been poolside, he would have still been on. He would have never got that kicking off. The reason why we bring him up is he pops up on AEW TV last night, high capping at Vince about a brass, the same glass ceiling with the same brass ring, and you can shove that brass ring up your ass. And then also shouted out his Twitch channel, talking about he was the best Twitcher, the best video gamer, the best that had the best shoes. Like he was talking about he was the best. So him being the best is his new gimmick. But that's how his entrance into AEW was talking about A, how he's the best, and B, popping shots at Vince for being a grumpy old man.
Again, more firing shots at the competition. Now, when Kip Sabian did it on All Out, it was a well-timed troll. If that was going to be the only thing you did, I'd have co-signed it, because Vince really came off as being out of touch when trying to shut down the whole roster from being, online personalities. If you did it that one time, that would have been cool. But you couple that with everything else Tony Khan had been doing and saying, and then you have Miro come out and fire that same type of shot. It's like, it's overkill. It's too much in such a small window, and it seems like you can't think about anything else.
No doubt.
It's the same thing WCW was doing when the NWO came.
It's a little bit different because
it's the exact same thing. This don't try to change it now.
No,
Eric Bischoff did a lot of fire shots, but Hall and Nash was just collecting
regular
check.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. With the NWO, every time Eric Bischoff was on the screen, he had something to say about Vince.
and it was their eventual downfall.
And that's it, because he was playing with somebody else's money, so he broke the bank to talk shit about. Here we go. He broke the bank to talk smack about the competition, and in this situation, they're playing with house money. So they're not even dropping names. They were dropping names in WCW. It's just understood now.
A segment troll with talent is one thing. Being out in the public and making, press noteworthy comments, that's another. That's your ego starting to run away with you. Because, look, even with Eric Bischoff, the night that everything changed from 83 weeks is because he was in the middle of the ring on a motorcycle cutting a promo on Vince McMahon. And from then on, they never won another week of ratings.
As a late 40s guy with a cool look, dyeing everything black, wearing black leather, that's supposed to have been cool because it was edgy for the 90s.
It worked as a talent when you were challenging Vince McMahon to a fight that you were pretty sure he wasn't going to show up on just because he wasn't going to be on your television. That kind of made sense. Just cutting a promo about how much better you are than the competition is only going to do what? Make them go check out the competition to see what the difference is. You're trying to retain viewership.
Yeah.
Especially as number two, with as many of their ex-talent roster members as you're acquiring, bringing them up is just not the right thing to do. People who don't like WWE or who are upset with the product, they already know it's bad. So they're watching you for an alternative. Give them the alternative, not a explanation of why it's bad.
Now,
focus on you.
This is the same tactics. And that'll put butts in the seats. No, I'm telling you, it backfires every time. But it is the same thing. We've seen this happen.
So let's fast forward because we got a lot more stuff to talk about in a very short amount of time to do it in. Let's jump over to ROH and New Japan here real quick. Two major tournaments popping off over in those organizations. ROH
Grand Theft concept,
bruh. We're coming to that too since we're going to be talking about ROH. Matter of fact, before we talk about tournaments, let's talk about that first. So last Saturday on YouTube, ROH decided they wanted to put up a fantasy draft for I guess the greatest ROH champions of all time, or the greatest ROH roster of all time. Does this sound like eerily familiar?
Sounds familiar enough that we're talking about it.
I mean, because we already talked about a show that we've already pre-produced. You'll be hearing it later on this year, where we're fed up with wrestling as a whole, the way we see it, and we decided to make our own territory. So Suave had the political status championship wrestling,
right?
And I had what was it? Extreme. What was it?
I don't know. We don't talk about the competition here.
I see what you did there. I see how you did it.
With your punk ass.
Hit that swear jar one time while you had it.
The Extreme Wrestling Authority is what it was. Thank you, sir. The XWA.
Hit the bell. I just showed you how to do this.
He needs his bell, man. You can't deny him now.
The greatnest. Okay.
All I'm saying is, Tony, if you would, for a nominal fee.
I don't have it loaded. Go ahead.
For a nominal fee, I will slice off some of this broken pencil knowledge and put it on your plate.
Every time. Every damn time.
It's gonna go up from a nominal fee to a phenomenal fee.
For a phenomenal fee.
Yeah.
All right. So
you gonna pay me what you pay AJ.
The ROH Pure Championship is making a return to ROH, and I can't say this bad timing at all. Former champions include those of the likes of AJ Styles, Samoa Joe, Jay Lethal, John Walters, Doug Williams, Nigel McGuinness, and Bryan Danielson.
I thought you were gonna say John Wally Price.
Because being Texas, this year's tournament,
then it would have had to been the Pure Championship.
The Pure,
yeah.
This year's tournament consists of the following competitors: Wheeler Yuta, Silas Young, Fred Yehi, Josh Woods, Tracy Williams, Russ Taylor, Matt Seidel, Rocky Romero, Jay Lethal, Kenny King, Jonathan Gresham, David Finley, Tony Deppen, Delirious, Dalton Castle, and PJ Black. For wrestlers, that's a pretty stacked wrestling card there. Or a tournament, should I say, for a roster.
Tap me on the shoulder when you get to PJ Black versus Matt Seidel.
You can put PJ Black against anybody that you knew from a name. You know who I want to see in this match, in this tournament match up against each other. I want to see Delirious versus Silas Young.
I want to see Delirious versus El Generico.
Bring it on back. Bring it on back. And then also we have the New Japan G1. That tournament bracket has been announced. The G1 Climax, I believe it's 30. Have announced the participants and the blocks. So in Block A, we have Kota Ibushi, the Stone Pitbull, Tomohiro Ishii, my guy. We also have Kaz Okada, Shingo Takagi, Yujihiro Takahashi, Taichi, Minoru Suzuki, Jeff Cobb, Will Ospreay, and Jay White. Jeff Cobb is very interesting on this list simply because we don't know where he stands. And he's getting over COVID, so get well soon, Jeff Cobb.
He can get to Japan.
He can get to Japan, that's for sure. Hiroshi Tanahashi, Hiroki Goto, Yano, who John Moxley paid tribute to at the end of the match on Saturday, Yoshihashi, Sanada, Tatsui Naito, Evil, Zack Sabre Jr., Juice Robinson, and Kenta round out Block B. How Evil, who owns the New Japan World Championship and the New Japan Intercontinental Championship, is in the G1, I have no idea. Suppose he wins. What happens then? He literally runs the gamut of all things New Japan if he wins this tournament.
Well, then there's that.
So we'll be looking forward to seeing that. Hopefully we'll get some of that coverage here in the States. What else do we have here today? Daniel Cormier. Talk about old DC.
Bruh. So DC has potentially thrown a monkey wrench into everything that we possibly thought might happen with John Bones Jones versus Brock Lesnar, because Cormier has gone. He's done two things that put the ball in Vince's court. He's declared his willingness to participate. He's named a place and an opponent. So now it is if it doesn't happen, it's Vince's fault. So now there has to be a bag set.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. Let's go back. He didn't name a place and a date. He named the place.
He named the most commercially viable event to participate in WWE.
WrestleMania.
Makes the most sense.
In Hollywood. So now if I'm Cormier, just call Brock, let him know. Put the higher the bag for Brock, the higher the bag for Cormier. So just communicate with me what you're negotiating so I can get somewhere close to it. That's it.
So what we wanted to see, we still want to see, is Bobby Lashley versus Brock Lesnar, and because of lack of crowd participation and or a contract, we probably will never get a chance to see that happen. And that match could have actually potentially led to a DC Brock Lesnar match. Now that DC is potentially done with the UFC, considering how the outcome of his last match was against Stipe Miocic, this is way more viable, way more realistic, and possibly knocks Bobby Lashley out of the conversation for having a match with Brock, because if Brock Lesnar takes on Daniel Cormier in any arena and Brock Lesnar comes out less than victorious, do we still want to see Bobby Lashley versus Brock Lesnar?
I personally do. You may have to wait longer to build Brock back or let him get his win back. I do have an interesting way that you can make all these parts work at the same time.
Break your pencil in.
Cormier shows up. Cormier is getting ready to challenge Brock and gets initiated into the Hurt Business. So MVP does his mouthpiece thing, and then Cormier becomes a de facto member of the Hurt Business while doing this whole build up with Brock. Bobby Lashley, during these interactions with Brock, is only fixated on trying to fight Brock. He won't follow the plans. He won't stay on the same page. It's like he's trying to get himself into the match instead of being, a teammate to the Hurt Business member. That's how you can end up breaking off Cormier afterwards, because there's a disagreement because they're not all on the same page, but they can be involved in the build. Bobby Lashley would be so consumed with the idea of fighting Brock Lesnar that he won't even consider helping Cormier do what he's trying to do.
If Underground is still around at that time, you could possibly have Cormier and Lashley battle out on Underground prior to the whatever match Lesnar is with DC.
Honestly, to tell you the truth, the best way to write this is randomly have Brock show up on Underground. And I mean randomly have Brock show up. Don't announce it. Don't say nothing. Just have random Brock Lesnar beating the hell out of people, and Bobby Lashley show up with the Hurt Business.
And after what Paul said on SmackDown Friday, you would have him show up randomly without Paul.
Yeah. Because Heyman's already got his hands full what he's got going on.
Well, Heyman feels like he's trash at this point.
Yeah, a rogue Brock Lesnar, rogue albino gorilla just running across
It's totally reflective of, one, Brock not having a contract, and two, what we have been trying to book for quite some time, the race war between Brock Lesnar and the Hurt
Business. Because I'll take one Brock Lesnar against the Hurt Business. I got my money on Brock.
Hey,
and most people would, until you run into Bobby Lashley. He's the high joker of that group.
Bobby, what's gonna happen is, your homeboy, y'all went up and down the road together from Minnesota. Is it Stretching or Wrestling Crew?
Stretching, Minnesota Stretching Crew.
Minnesota Stretching Crew. So your homeboy, you can beat him. MVP is old, you can beat him. Said is little, you can beat him. But what you're not gonna do is run up on the color swap of you.
Well, DC is north of 42, so I
got Bobby with better hands.
There's that too.
Look, because you're not gonna run up on the color swap of you that Vince literally used to replace you.
Hey, real quick, two major quotes from Bobby Lashley this week, according to the courtesy of Sports Illustrated, as relates to the Hurt Business. Quote: "That's another reason I love being part of the Hurt Business. We're not thugs. We're dressed clean. We're businessmen, black businessmen. We've been in this business a long time, and that's how we conduct ourselves. We have put in the work, and we're going to continue to do that." Shouts out to Cedric Alexander, who finally bought into the Hurt Business. He is in the Hurt Business.
Career decision.
Also, on Bobby Lashley's goal as on how long he'll continue to wrestle, quote: "I am putting in the work to be world champion. Even if it takes years, I will stay in this business as long as it takes for me to get there. Bobby ain't going no damn where."
It ain't gonna take you years, Bobby. You'll be champion next year, baby. Just hold on tight.
Determination.
Yeah.
I do like the determination of that statement. I just hope they don't use it as a way to kind of, keep him at bay. It's like, you're almost there. You're almost there.
Hold on tight, because what's going to end up happening is the Hurt Business at WrestleMania. It's gonna be a bigger belt. They're gonna have to get that.
They're gonna Andre the belt.
They're gonna have to Andre the belt.
That belt would be the one thing Vince hates it to be, a strap.
I promise you, there will be an episode of Raw in which the Hurt Business is pushing Bobby up the ramp, and all you hear him scream is, "You ain't gonna keep ducking me, man! You ain't gonna keep ducking me! You ain't gonna keep ducking me, man!"
Straight up.
And when it happened, you heard it here first.
Oh man! And then finally, do we even want to talk about retribution?
Yeah.
If you just want to.
They're talking now.
Oh.
That's about all I can say about that. New NXT champion. We forgot to talk about the match last week. New NXT champion Finn Balor and Rhea Ripley shut it down with Mercedes Martinez in a cage match on NXT TV this week. We got anything else?
Finn Balor got his belt back.
Yeah, Balor put on a great showing. So did Rhea Ripley. I mean, I have no problems with what happened on television.
Rhea Ripley is so dope, man. She has. I was telling you this off air, Swabs. Rhea Ripley with her height and the way that she wrestles like a guy with reckless abandon. And if she continues with the style that she has, she'll be done by 30, and she will have quite the remarkable career, even if she stays with the E the entire time. I like it.
You think she's done at 30?
If she keeps up the way that she's doing, yes. With the storybook, she'll have a catalog for people to go off of by that time. Now,
because they'll do the air quotes main roster call up, and then she'll have to dial a bunch of stuff back.
I actually like her going back and forth between the UK and Orlando, but that's just me. That's just me personally liking that idea.
On the low, there are some people that it would self-serve to do that aren't even from the UK. That they just never need to be called up to the main roster. Like, I'm gonna keep it real with you. I don't ever want to see the UE on the main roster. I'd like to see the UE do a UK invasion, and I'd love to see that.
I agree, but
that's money.
But they're slowly getting rid of the UE as a unit. Slowly, I think it's going to be probably by this time next year. They'll probably be a unit, but again, it's like split apart, but at the same time together, but like not in the same. Kind of like New Day right now.
Unified, they're the greatest they're the greatest faction in WWE. Separated, I think they're just gonna end up being guys.
There's that. All right.
I mean, they are the Radicals, basically, if they come to the main roster.
Wow. Broken Pistol BC on all things social, brokenpistolbc@gmail.com, showbrokenpistolbc.com. Petty?
Peace.
All right. Suave, take us to the house.
Pencil pushers. Heads up, pencils down.
The Broken Pencil Booking Company, a pro wrestling podcast infused with hip hop. Available on all streaming platforms, including thebeastradio.com.